Hey mathematicians, we are going to take a look at solving equations when there is distributive property involved. So I'm going to do a couple examples with you, and then you will have some time to work on those yourself. Here we have number 1, 2 times the quantity a plus 3 equals negative 12. And we can look at this a couple different ways. We can go ahead and distribute and do 2 times a and 2 times 3, and that gets us 2a plus 6. And those are the only things that got distributed to, so that's equal to the negative 12 doesn't change. So we could solve it just like a regular two-step equation. Draw our line. We've got to get rid of our constant. Our constant is 6. And that gets us to 2a. We're going to pretend you can read that. Equals negative 18. And then you can see, oh, this is 2 times a, so I've got to split it in half. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. And that gets me a equals negative 9. Or I can go over to my tape diagram, and here you can see I have drawn out a diagram. I've got 2 sets of a plus 3, because a plus 3 is what was in parentheses, and the whole thing is equal to negative 12. I can use my tape diagram to reason through how to solve this. So I know 2 sets of a plus 3 are equal to negative 12. So if I chop them in half, this must be negative 6, and this must be negative 6. So a plus 3 has to be equal to negative 6. Now I can just solve it like a one-step equation. How do I get rid of my constant? Subtract 3. And we see a is equal to negative 9. Either way we solve it, you get negative 9 as your value. Let's look at problem number 2. I've got 3 times p plus 2 equals 18. And you can see I've set up my diagram, but I can just distribute. And that gets me 3 times p plus 6 equals 18. And we can solve it just like a two-step equation. Get rid of our constant. That gets us 3p equals 12. And now it is a one-step equation. Divided by 3, divided by 3. I ran out of room. P is equal to 12 divided by 3, or 4. Looking at our diagram, you can see I did 3 sets of p plus 2, because p plus 2 was in the parentheses being multiplied by 3. And that's equal to 18. So my piece of tape that's 18 is the same length as all 3 p plus 2's put together. I can chop it into 3 equal pieces. When I do that, my 18 becomes 3 sets of 6. So that tells me that p plus 2 equals 6. It is a one-step equation. Subtract 2 from both sides, and p is equal to 4. All right. Now I've got 4 times 2r plus 8 equals 88. Again, I can distribute, and I get 8r plus 32 equals 88. Solve it like a two-step. Subtract my constant. And that gets me 56 is 8r. And then you divide by 8 to get that coefficient away from r. We're always isolating our variable. R is equal to 7. So now let's try it with our tape diagram. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 2r plus 8, just like our equation says, and it's all equal to 88. You can see that the 88 is exactly equal to my 4 sets. So I can take my 88 and chop it into 4 equal pieces, and each one is equal to 22. Which gives me 2r plus 8 being equal to 22. So I still have a two-step equation, but it's a little bit easier numbers to work with, right? So then I can subtract 8. And that gets me 2r equals 14. Oh, look, a one-step equation. R is equal to 7, either way. And our last example we have is 2 times 3a plus 2. Of course, we can distribute. So we get 6a plus 4 equals negative 8. We would get rid of our constant. 6a equals negative 12 divided by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1, so we get 1a. And then negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2. So let's check our diagram and make sure it matches. We get 3a plus 2 and 3a plus 2. We've got two sets of them because they're multiplied by 2, all equal to negative 8. When I chop my diagram in half, my negative 8 becomes two sets of negative 4. And that gets me, again, a two-step equation, but slightly friendlier numbers. So you can see that my piece of tape 3a plus 2 is equal to the negative 4. And let's solve it. I've got a positive 2 as my constant. Subtract my constant. 3a is equal to negative 6. Divide by 3. And we get a is equal to negative 2. So either way you solve it, whether you want to use the tape diagram or distribute, then solve it like a two-step equation, they're both fine. You'll get the same answer either way. If you get stuck, sometimes drawing out that tape diagram can help you understand what the next step to take is.